It's now available. First question from Dave Assay. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, Dave. Just curious what the status of Edwin Ríos' left hamstring is.
Right now, he's going to lay low today. I don't see him available, at all today. He's had other hamstring issues. This is more of a benign episode for him. I think right now it's just day to day, and hopefully as each passing day, he feels a little bit better.
Dave, a lot of young players around Major League Baseball this year have gotten opportunities that they probably wouldn't have gotten if it wasn't for the short season and the circumstances. Do you feel for your players in that category, they've benefited from the experience they've gotten that they've been forced into?
Yeah, I think that it's more apparent outside of our team. The guys that we have, the younger players, were with us last year, outside of obviously Kabert, who made his debut yesterday. But certainly guys with the expanded rosters, there's 3 other guys that wouldn't be on this ball club, if it weren't for the expanded roster situation, accruing service time. But I do think it is a good thing. Young players are getting opportunities. Unfortunately, some of them are from, the pandemic, COVID. Some are by way of injury. But it is good to see young players getting those opportunities.
And last one from me, Dave. As far as A.J. Ramos goes, what's the update on him at USC? Is he to a point where you would feel comfortable if you needed him at this point, or is there still more time that needs to be had with him?
Yeah, AJ is continuing to progress and build up arm strength, and we've been doing a lot of things as far as back-to-back. He's been throwing a lot, consistently throwing pens, and absolutely, if the situation calls for it, we have complete trust in him. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next question is from Alanna Rizzo. Go ahead, Alanna.
Hi, Dave. Just wondering if you could give us a little bit more clarity beyond Tuesday for your rotation in Seattle. I apologize if this was already asked.
No, I think right now we've got Strip going, and I think it's Tony going to be inserted in the rotation on Tuesday.
Okay. Anything beyond that?
And then each guy will get an extra day following.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Got it.
Seager versus Seager today. Any part of you excited to see this?
I'm excited to see this. It just seems like we anticipated this a few years ago, but it just really hasn't come to pass for one reason or another. I know his folks are really looking forward to tonight. Sad that they can't be here present. But I think that Corey and never really gets excited about anything, but I certainly think this is something pretty special. Yeah.
I mean, you have a son that plays at LMU, obviously incredibly proud of Cole. Can you imagine what will go through a parent's mind when they, 2 of their sons are in the big leagues and their other son also knows about pro ball?
No, I know it's really cool and it's really special. The family, and they've been a baseball family their entire lives, and it goes to their families, and obviously Kyle and his family, and then the in-laws and the cousins and aunts and uncles. So there's a lot of people in greater Charlotte or somewhere in North Carolina that these people are really dialed in. It's just one of those things that us as baseball players, the sphere, how many people it affects, is well beyond the players themselves.
Dave, with Ross Stripling, he has so many different pitches that he can typically use in any count. I mean, what is the benefit of that in your mind for him? A guy that's not necessarily a power guy, not necessarily a swing and miss guy, but really someone that has a lot of different tools that he can, rely upon.
I think the main thing is that where we like to try to attack hitters' weaknesses and layer that on with pitcher strengths. So when you have a team that you don't know very much about, or even if a team you do know a lot about, you can still, with his mix, you can go to their weaknesses more because he has more weapons. And also, if something isn't working that particular start, he can kind of go to plan B, plan C, or even plan D.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
You got it, Alanna.
Got a question from Rowan Kavner. Go ahead, Rowan.
Hey, Dave. Obviously, Corey and Kyle are taking a lot of the conversation right now. And I'm curious, they were kind of asked about each other's games. Where with Corey do you feel like he's gained or improved the most since you first worked with him?
I think, so two things. I think that number one, he's able to get consistent work with his body. I think he's in as good a shape as he's ever been in. He hasn't been in that rehab mode for quite some time. So I think that's one thing, and I think that lends itself to performance in the batter's box defensively. As far as hitting, I just think he's just been a little bit more selective over the years, which is going to make him an even better and more dangerous hitter.
Thank you.
Got a question from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Dave, you mentioned the selectivity that he's improved on. He's batting second here the last few days. I'm wondering if that's a product of him being more selective and being more patient at the plate.
It's a product of that and getting him as many at bats as possible. It's also a product of right now we had some other guys that just really haven't gotten tracked yet. So right now I like the way it looks and how it's functioning. It's hard to go wrong to have Corey in the number 2.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Thanks.